Shoveling. Now there's a winter chore most Minnesotans dread, but for a Robbinsdale guy, it is pure fun. Unlike most of us, Jim Dedrick can sit back on his couch and relax while clearing the snow from his driveway and walkway. The key is a remote control toy called Robocat. Dedrick created it himself, and as Carol Evans Can Speak reports, it makes the perfect plow.
When Jim Dedrick figures it's time to shovel his walk, he takes his cup and his transmitter and heads out to his truck, where he settles in for comfort. But the engine he starts is the V-twin that powers what he calls his Robocat. It's a miniature skid loader, does everything its big brothers do, but the driver sits over there, across the street in his truck.
It's a toy. I love building and designing things, and it's an accomplishment that I feel good about when I get done.
Jim Dedrick says it took him 3 years to build his Robocat. Took old tires to make the tracks, cut and welded the steel himself, designed and built the hydraulics and electronics. He says this is the 6th robot he's built.
And she said, you could not, so she took me on as a challenge. I like to...
A challenge for fun. Jim Dedrick says he could shovel his walk from the comfort of his house, but he can't see his driveway real well from there, and even though there are lots of safety precautions built into it, that Robocat tends to get into trouble from time to time. So it's important to see what it's doing. Ken Speak, KARE 11 News, Robbinsdale.
Now, if he could just teach that thing to mow the lawn in the summertime, he could probably make some real money with it.
Yeah, and you know, I've seen a lawnmower that actually has that with it. It just kind of bounces around and does lawns.
You'd think it would
kind of
be
a dangerous thing, though.
Nice idea. We'll see you back here at 6. Still ahead on KARE 11 News at 6. Imagine this, plowing your driveway from the comfort of your own living room. A Twin Cities man is making it possible. We'll tell you how next. Well, we've all been doing plenty of this lately, but imagine never having to set foot outside again to plow the snow from your driveway or sidewalk. Now, here's an exception to that if it seems too good to be true rule. A Twin Cities man has invented something to take the chill out of snow removal. Folks in one Robbinsdale neighborhood may think they're living next door to the Nutty Professor. Jim Dedrick's newest creation is a radio-controlled miniature skid loader driveway shoveler, but he simply calls it Robocat. Took him 3 years to build the robot, which he uses to shovel snow. Jim operates the contraption from inside his nice, warm truck, but says you could also operate it from the comfort of your own home, as long as you have a direct line of sight so you can see what it is you're doing. Not a bad idea.
Finally tonight, a lot of you have seen enough snow lately to make you glad Frosty the Snowman melted. So from Robbinsdale, Minnesota, we call our picture of the week, 2 scoops or 1. A do-it-yourselfer who doesn't like to do it himself, Jim Dedrick took some old tires and some scrap steel to make his own hired, or rather wired, hand. Now he just sits back in his pickup and lets his robot pick up. It took him 3 years to make, but who wouldn't say it was worth it? That's Dateline for this Tuesday night. Join us for Dateline Wednesday, tomorrow night at 9 Eastern, 8 Central Time. I'm Jane Pauley. From all of us at NBC News, good night.
Stand by.
A lot of us complain about Minnesota winters, the cold, the snow shoveling. Well, perhaps now there's a way to eliminate at least one of those gripes.
Shoveling snow can be back-breaking work if you do it the old-fashioned way. Snow blowers are an improvement, but can still leave some folks frosty or frostbitten. However, Robbinsdale resident Jim Dedrick has found a way to beat Mother Nature, or so it seems. He did it by building this, his own radio-controlled snowplow called Robocat, which may be the greatest invention in Minnesota next to, well, I don't know, but it's way up there. With a 30 to 40 degree below wind chill factor, who in their right mind would be outside if they didn't have to be? Which reminds me, why are we out here? Let's see if we can be smart like Jim and hitch a ride with him. What do you say?
It all started with a challenge to the wife. I saw a robot on TV, and that's incredible. And there was like 3 engineers that designed it with a total of 20-some years of college. I had a 10th grade high school education. I said to the wife, I said, why did it take 3 engineers? I said, I can build that myself.
And after 3 years and $8,000, Jim's dream is a reality. He completely designed and built the 2,000-pound Robocat. It can plow through the snow up to a 1.5-mile radius from Jim's home. And Jim can control the action from just about anywhere, including the inside of his truck.
What do your neighbors think of all this when they first saw the remote-controlled, radio-controlled snowplow? What was their first reaction?
They just kind of shake their head. Not too much. They just, of course, they don't say too much to me, but they're out taking pictures all the time and filming it. My own satisfaction is more important than anything, I think, to myself. I don't know if I try to prove something to myself or not, but if somebody says I can't do it, I make sure I do it. So I try to.
Pretty neat. Jim is now trying to find someone to buy the rights to Robocat, and he's also trying to get Robocat an appearance on TV's Tool Time with Tim Allen. And if you think that seems a bit far-fetched, well, if you remember the TV show Chips, Jim designed a robot which was used on that show. And back in December, Robocat made it into prime time. It was featured as Dateline NBC's Picture of the Week.